Hello and welcome back. Now in the last video we added sounds to the reload animation so that it sounds like she's doing what she's doing, inserting the clip, pulling it out, grabbing another clip. And so just that little detail, adding sound like that, makes our reloading so much cooler. And so we want to add sounds to everything in our game as much as we can. One of those things that we can add sound to is equipping a weapon. So if we go ahead and take this weapon here and we swap it by pressing the E key, we want some sounds to play when we do these things. And so just that little bit is going to help to give this a little bit more realism. So we're going to add some sounds. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I'm here in item.h and I'm going to add a couple of private variables to the private variables section down here at the bottom. I'd like to add a variable for a sound cue, and this is going to be whenever the item gets picked up. So we can call this pickup sound. Now I'm going to forward declare this, and it's a uSoundCue pointer, and we'll call this pickup sound. Now I'm going to make this a uProperty, and I'd like this to be edit anywhere. So we can set this in blueprints. Likewise, I'll make it blueprint read write. And I'll give this the category item properties, and of course we need the meta specifier. Now I'm going to give this a comment and say that this will be the sound played when item is picked up. Not only do we want a sound to be played when the item is picked up, but once it's done interpolating, we might actually equip the item, so we want a sound played when that happens as well. So let's give this another uSoundCue pointer, and let's call this equip sound. So we'll have two sounds, one when it's picked up from the ground and one when it's actually equipped. So I'm going to give it the same uProperty specifiers as pickup sound, and we'll give this a comment as well and say sound played when the item is equipped. So this gives us a couple of sounds. Now, when picking up the item, we want to see if we can play this. Now, this means that we might have to access this from the character class when actually picking up the item. So let's make a couple of public getters for these. So down in the public section, we'll make a force inline function. And first we'll make one for pickup sound. So we're going to make this a uSoundCue pointer returning function called getPickupSound. And it's going to be const, and it's going to return pickup sound. And we'll also add another one, so force inline. This will also return a uSoundCue, and this will be getEquipSound. GetEquipSound. Const, of course, and return equip sound. There we go. Now we have getters for these. So what are we going to do when we want to play these sounds? When are we going to play them? Well, let's take a look at shooter character, and let's look at the select pressed function, select button pressed. So when we press the select button, we're tracing to see if we have a trace hit item, and if we do, we're going to start the item curve. Now, another thing we can do when we start the item curve is we can go ahead and play that pickup sound. So we can first check, we can say if trace hit item, and we can try to get that pickup sound. So get pickup sound, if it even has a sound. If it does, then we can play that sound. And we can do so using uGameplayStatics, uGameplayStatics, and uGameplayStatics has play sound 2D. And play sound 2D, of course, takes a world context object, which we can usually use this for that. And then we can get that pickup sound. So we can use trace hit item, get pickup sound. So this should play the pickup sound if the item has a pickup sound as soon as we press the select button when we're tracing for items. So we can go ahead and compile this, and we can give our items a pickup sound, and see if this actually plays a sound when we go and pick an item up. Okay, so back here in the editor, we need to decide which sound we'd like to play for equipping. So if we take a look at this SW underscore Foley underscore jump 01Q, it sounds like a swiping sound, and that's kind of the sound I want to play for when we pick up an item. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this so we understand what it is that this sound sounds like. So I'm going to call this swipe underscore 1 underscore Q, and that'll make a lot more sense to us. So we have this swipe underscore 1Q. Now let's go to our base weapon class. So let's go into weapons, base weapon, and open up base weapon. And here in base weapon, in our item properties, we can find our pickup sound and our equip sound. I'm going to set pickup sound to swipe underscore 1Q. So now we have pickup sound populated by swipe 1Q. We can go ahead and save that. And let's go ahead and give this a test run. I'm going to come over here to this gun and I'm going to pick it up. And there we go. It plays that swipe sound as soon as we pick up the weapon. Very cool. Now we also want to play a sound when we equip it, and that's why we added the equip sound. You'll see that we have this equip sound here. So let's go ahead and implement playing that sound as well. Now if we go over to item.cpp, we have this finish interping function. This is what's called when we're finished with the interp timer. And what this does is it checks to see if we have a valid reference to the character and calls the character's get pickup item. Now, when we call get pickup item, we pass in this, so the character will have a reference to this item. And since we added to the item class an equip sound, we can play that on the character in get pickup item. So let's go to shootercharacter.cpp and search for get pickup item. And here we have get pickup item. So what we're doing is first we're casting this from a item to a weapon, and then we're calling swap weapon. But regardless of what we do when we get the pickup item, if that item has a pickup sound, we might as well play that pickup sound. And what we can do first is check to see if the item has the equip sound. So if item get equip sound, we can see if it has that sound set. And if it does, we can play that sound using that uGameplayStatics function, uGameplayStatics play sound 2D. And play sound 2D will take a world context object, we'll use this, and for the sound we can simply pass in item get equip sound. And that will result in playing that equip sound if it's set on the item. So it's as simple as that. So we can go ahead and compile this, and then we'll set a pickup sound on the item here in the blueprint. And what sound do we want to play for our equip sound? Well, let's go back to Assets, Sounds, and Rifle. And if you play this SW WebAR Equip 02Q, that sounds pretty appropriate for equipping a weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this name. It's Equip 02Q, so I'm going to just call this Equip 02Q. We don't need all that other stuff on the beginning of the name. So I'll rename this to Equip 02Q, and we'll set that on the base weapon for the equip sound. So type Equip 02Q and set that so we can compile and save. And if we go ahead and play this, let's go ahead and equip this weapon. And now we get that sound when we equip it. So that sounds great. So that's going to go ahead and conclude this video. We've now implemented sounds for when we equip and go ahead and pick up a weapon or an item in general. And so now it sounds cool along with how it looks. So in the next video, we're going to work on making some more item types. So we already have a weapon item type. We're going to make some pickups like ammo, and that way we'll be able to pick up ammo to replenish our ammo as we use it. So stay tuned.